I saw this, I kind of was curious that perhaps it was an April Fool's joke, and when I was looking for stories for this episode, it was like treading a minefield of April Fool's jokes, but haven't heard anything about it since. But we'll have to keep an eye on this one, an interesting recording to say the least.
Hey, this message is for Ben at Mysterious Universe. This is Mike. I've called in a couple times before. Originally from New York City, and now I reside in lovely North Carolina. I'm heading towards the coast on my day off, and I'm just listening to the latest episode, number 57, and just talked about calling in, and I thought I'd do that now, seeing I have a long car ride. Wanted to talk to you about the ability to close your eyes and meditate and feel a different feeling and see different things. And I got really serious into meditation probably just within the last year. And I've gotten really interested in the power of the mind and, how many limits we seem to have on us and how much potential we have. Whenever I seem to meditate, I notice that I see, how you see floaties in your eyes? I'm sure there's a better technical term than that, but whenever I start to meditate, I start to see things like almost like a tunnel that I'm flowing through. And in the tunnel, it feels like I see the tunnel every time, the tunnel. And it's a really, really emotional experience, and I feel like I'm traveling through it, and it's a really, really strange experience. But the problem is that when I try to go to sleep at night, I see that tunnel, and I can't sleep because I just see that image. And I don't know if it's something that I've created or something that I've tapped into, but I've stopped meditating because if I forget about it and blank it out of my mind and don't meditate, then it'll go away and I won't have to deal with it. But if I continue to meditate, I can't sleep at night because all I see is this tunnel that I feel like I'm traveling through, and it's like having my eyes open when they're closed. I don't know if you've ever heard of anybody having the same problems, but I really want to meditate, but I can't lie awake at night with my eyes closed. I just wanted to see if you've heard anybody of the same situation or if I'm the unique freak. Love the work you do. Keep it up and be safe. Bye.
Great to hear from you again, Mike, and thanks for calling in. It's fascinating for me that you described that in the way that you did, because you're essentially mirroring a lot of reports from some people that have practiced esoteric arts and yoga practices from India and Qigong practices from China that talk about the development of the third eye. And a lot of those experiences relate exactly what you've talked about, and some of those practices actually go into detail with this, is that the tunnel you're describing is, in fact, you breaking through your third eye, or what some would call a psychic eye. And I've read a few stories from people that claim to have experienced this as well. Exactly the same as what you've described, traveling through a tunnel that's getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and they see it in their sleep as well. And when they close their eyes, this tunnel's there, it's getting brighter and brighter. And eventually this is supposed to break through and open up this third eye, which is meant to be the psychic connection between this dimension and another dimension. So it enables you to see beyond this physical dimension into the other realities. Well, that's what's proclaimed by some of these practices. If you want to email me through the website, Mike, do so, and I'll send you some stuff. But what you got me thinking of was a recent article in Wired magazine, actually, that looks at how technology is being developed that kind of crosses over sensory information. And I remember seeing an example on a documentary a while back where scientists had kind of reorganized the senses for a blind patient so that they could kind of see where they were with taste. They redirected the part of the brain responsible for sight to the patient's tongue. So it's hard to describe. It was like they were tasting what they were seeing. It was really bizarre. Eventually, through practice and training, the person could essentially get a basic outline of what they were seeing by the senses that were being directed to their tongue. And the blog mindhacks.com had a good quote taken out of that article in regards to senses. It says, "We humans get just the 5, but why? Can our senses be modified, expanded? Given the right prosthetics, could we feel electromagnetic fields or hear ultrasound?" The answers to these questions, according to researchers at a handful of labs around the world, appear to be yes. It turns out that the tricky bit isn't the sensing. The world is full of gadgets that detect things humans cannot. The hard part is processing the input. Neuroscientists don't know enough about how the brain interprets data. The science of plugging things directly into the brain, artificial retinas or cochlear implants, remains primitive. So here's the solution. Figure out how to change the sensory data you want, the electromagnetic fields, the ultrasound, the infrared, into something that the human brain is already wired to accept, like touch or sight. The brain, it turns out, is dramatically more flexible than anyone previously thought, as if we had unused sensory ports just waiting for the right plugins.